Got yet another flyweight battle here at RFO Big Guns 21. Jeremy Artrip and Nick Spinks, two of the most experienced guys we've seen on the fight card thus far. Both have 5 fights each. Nick Spinks 2 and 3, Jeremy Artrip 3 and 2.
And you look at Jeremy Artrip, and we'll talk about him as he comes out. Every single fight but one has ended in submission, whether that be win or loss.
Send it back up to Jake Digman here to bring these guys out.
The following contest is in the RFO Bantamweight Division, and it is brought to you by ShootItMMA.com, official photographer of the RFO. Introducing first, making his way down the aisle into the blue corner, please welcome Jeremy Artrip.
Jeremy Artrip 3 and 2, coming out of the Cincinnati area. Made his debut way back in 2013, went 2 and 1, then took about 2.5 years off. Came back earlier this year and is 1 and 1 in his return to the cage.
And this is where these guys are in a tough spot, because they could go from, this is in the bantamweight, but they could also fight at flyweight. So are they going to be a little bit lighter but perhaps faster in the bantamweight division, or are they going to be a little bit heavier and slower in the flyweight division? So these guys are in a tough spot. They got to really decide what they want to do. Am I a flyweight? Am I a bantamweight? What is it? But right now, as we see from Jeremy Artrip, except for his first debut, he's won or lost by submission.
Another interesting fact is that even though he is an Ohio guy, come out of Reed Academy in the Cincinnati area, this is his 6th fight, just his 2nd fight in Ohio. He's fought, first 3 fights were in Kentucky, then had a fight in Ohio, and his last fight was actually in West Virginia, which is kind of really starting to make their way up the ranks of just recently starting to sanction amateur mixed martial arts. And I believe he fought on one of the first sanctioned amateur MMA events in West Virginia. So.
Well, as you can see by his ear, clearly he has got some grappling experience, because that is some good cauliflower. Love it. Love that stuff. So, you know, he's a guy that wants to get the fight to the ground. The question becomes, as an amateur, you know, you've got 5 fights in. How much do you start testing your stand-up? We'll see what he has tonight. Wearing the Muay Thai shorts.
And his opponent, making his way down the aisle into the red corner, please welcome Nick Spinks.
Nick Spinks coming out of the Eastern Ohio area. 2 wins, 3 losses, 30 years old. Actually called one of his fights late last year. Really tough guy. You know, could, as we mentioned, could potentially be fighting at flyweight. And has fought some tough guys. We saw him take on Sean Raw out of Evolve MMA in his last fight. Fought Andre Small, a Ronin product before that. If you take a look here at the tail of the tape, you see the 5 fights for each of the guys. 6 years the elder is Nick Spinks, and also 3 inches taller is Nick Spinks. And one of the interesting things is, even though he's 5'6" and the taller guy in this fight, his nickname is Shorty.
And it's going to be interesting, because when you got these guys, both of these guys could really just fluctuate between many different weight classes. What are they going to do? Nick Spinks, technically on mixedmartialarts.com, he's listed at 145 pounds of featherweight. Could he be at a bantamweight? Could he even make the jump to flyweight? Who knows? So this is going to be a very interesting fight at multi-levels. Not only have the talent in the cage, but where are these guys going to ultimately end up and find their groove, find their spot? Are they going to be flyweight, bantamweight, featherweight? Now, I don't think featherweight's going to be the case. Bantam or flyweight is the question.
And Spinks actually has a 9-second knockout on his record in his only other RFO appearance back at Big Guns 15 in March of 2015. And you know, a guy who definitely has heavy hands, and this guy who's going to come out and try to strike, but a 9-second knockout in 125, 135 pounds is some serious power.
I don't think you even touch gloves in 9 seconds, let alone get a knockout, but we'll see what happens.
The following contest is in the RFO Bantamweight Division, and it is brought to you by ShootItMMA.com, the official photographer of the RFO. Introducing first in the blue corner, he fights out of Mason, Ohio. He weighed in at 135 pounds, representing Reed Academy with an MMA record, 3 wins, 2 losses. Please welcome Jeremy Artrip. His opponent in the red corner, he fights out of Zanesville, Ohio. He weighed in at 133 pounds. He is an independent fighter with an MMA record, 2 wins and 3 losses. Please welcome Nick Shorty Spinks. This bout is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds, and the action begins. Your referee is Jerry Poe.
Bantamweight action here. Jeremy Artrip in the black Muay Thai shorts with the red lettering. Nick Spinks in the black shorts here and the red glove tape. Jerry Poe is the referee for this one. One of the things I wanted to point out is Nick Spinks, all 3 losses via submission, and Jeremy Artrip, both of his wins via, or 2 of his 3 wins via submission.
And here we go. We already got the fight down to the ground.
Artrip immediately now got that double leg. And Spinks just stands up out of that, and now
Oh, and he takes him over.
took him over.
Veteran move, taking him over to his corner.
And now in side control after that big slam, and the crowd wakes up there a little bit after that nice slam.
And what a veteran move. He not only takes him down,
Spinks
but he takes him over to his corner.
Artrip flattens him out. A couple of big shots there. Shots to the body there as Artrip trying to flatten him out here.
And he's looking for a rear naked choke.
And he has it.
And it's done. Woo, what a quick fight.
Impressive performance there from Jeremy Artrip. Now 4-2 on his career. As we mentioned, Artrip, 2 of his 3 wins via submission, and that is the 4th loss via submission for Nick Spinks.
And we mentioned it earlier on the broadcast that, you know, those fighters that are independent, getting in a legitimate gym where you understand, where you have a good jiu-jitsu instructor like, you know, Columbus, a Robin Giesler, or up in Northeast.
Vitor Oliveira and Ronan, something like that.
Yeah,
but
Pablo Castro, Jeff Starr. You get these guys, you know, you really got to understand the game of jiu-jitsu that.
And you see here the big mistake was for Nick Spinks trying to turning his back against Jeremy Artrip, and then Artrip taking his back, landing some big shots, and getting the submission, locking into his academic from there.
And that's one of the things that happens if you come from a wrestling background. So many things in mixed martial arts / jiu-jitsu are opposite of what you learn in wrestling. Wrestling, you give up your back. Jiu-jitsu, never give up your back.
Exactly.
So it happens.
Jake Digman here with the official result.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Jerry Poe calls a stop to the action at 53 seconds of the very first round, declaring your winner by rear naked choke submission, Jeremy Artrip.
Here's your winner, Jeremy Artrip. That's probably the biggest slam in RFO history. I can't believe Nick made it out of that one. This is a hard cage. Is that part of your repertoire to do big slams like that?
Hey, wrestlers do doubles, right? Doubles, you go flying. That's what I did. I did a double, and he went flying.
How's it feel to get a W in this cage?
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
A lot of people are talking about you leading up to this because of your tattoos, man. They're pretty rad.
Thank you, thank you.
Let's hear it for your winner one more time, Jeremy Artrip. Great fight, man. Great fight.